What's going on is the Wolf, and we are back with another episode of the Wolf Has Spoken podcast, America's fastest growing, the universe's fastest growing podcast.
True story.
And as always, I'm excited today for multiple reasons. We on our new set again. You know what I'm saying? I found myself joined by the one and only Right on Q Live. That's right, that's on the right side.
Right
Q-U-E.
not the left.
Yeah, we put it on the screen. You know, it's too much. And we got company. So we're going to try our best to be on our best behavior.
Ricky, that includes you.
Yeah. Ricky.
Especially, yeah. You know, yeah.
But no, it's an honor, man. We find ourselves joined by the one and only founders of Dear Sister, Sa and Dest, because I can't say the governments.
Hey.
What's up, y'all? How y'all feeling?
Put that in the
I'm feeling good.
Feeling good?
Yep.
You still putting in the contract, right?
They put that in the contract that we can't say.
Yeah, on the contract, right? Now I'm subconscious. Now I'm thinking. But, all right, y'all feeling good? How would y'all travel? I know y'all came from away. How would y'all travel?
It was okay. It was good. I feel rested. It's good.
Y'all slept
I
pretty
took an
much.
8-hour nap, so I
Yeah,
was.
That's too much on us.
Slept real good. What's up, Q, man?
I thought they flew from Dubai or something like that.
You would have thought to see them suitcases. I said, they think I'm moving. They got roommates. Talk to me.
No, I'm feeling good. You know, actually, it's funny. Full circle moment. We got the live show coming up.
I need to plug it.
Mm-hmm. And also, our shout out to our sponsor, real quick.
Yeah. Oh, big shout out to her fantasy box. You know, one thing for sure, two niggas for certain. Make sure y'all go shop on her fantasy box. Another thing, man, we got a live show coming on 4/20. You know what I'm saying? By now, we probably got like 50 tickets left. And I know y'all probably think I'm joking when I say that, but I'm not. This is like a real serious thing. We only had 200 to start, and the best 200 win. You know what I mean? We're going to be live in
Squid
Philadelphia. Games. You said what?
Squid Games.
Yeah, that's be the best way. You feel me? So, you know what I mean? And we're going to provide y'all with a dope experience and a dope vibe. And it's our first show. And we celebrating 1 year of consistency and getting 1% better and dropping. And, yo, you know what's funny? Because the other live event we did, which wasn't a part of the Wolf Has Spoken podcast, but
that's what I was going to bring up. Yeah. So I remember these ladies from that show. And I remember she was the only child.
Yeah.
And he tried to give us smut for the main character syndrome. Yeah.
Y'all siblings.
Why is that the only thing you remember?
That's why he remembered. Why?
We had the same team.
Okay.
Only child.
Got it.
He
Main
tried to make it negative. He tried to make it negative. Don't listen to him.
Use that word.
That's what people do when they usually feel left out.
I'm with you.
I had some of these siblings. I can never feel left out.
Sure seats. But yeah, so ready to jump into some topics?
Well, I thought you were talking about the full circle moment.
I would say, the show coming up. I was just acknowledging the ladies. I remember the
full circle moment. You know what I mean? Last time I sat with y'all, I was on y'all platform, so we finally got y'all here.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So she like, I came to talk today. That's probably got some shit to get on her chest.
Oh man.
Let's get into the topic, man. We can get to it.
All right. So since we got our partnership on our show, they got their partnership on their show. I thought a cool topic would be the idea when you have to hold up a partner, and like let's say you have to hold up your partner while they're maybe going through a down season, and you have to pour into that other person when you have not as much in your cup. And I thought that could be relationship based, romantic, or even friendship, or even business. So what are you guys' thoughts on those type of situations? But again, in the day, partnerships are kind of expected. Yo, if I'm down, you're supposed to hold me up, pick me up, keep me up. But then it's like the other person's also human. Yeah. So it's like I can only withstand possibly holding up so long without it being reciprocated in certain regards. So you guys have any thoughts or experience in those type of situations?
Ladies, feel free.
You can start. Okay, so first and foremost, I think that that's such an important topic to talk about, especially with 50-50 being such a predominant and repetitive conversation.
Yeah, it was too early.
But I think that like even in intimate and platonic situations, I've experienced that, and especially with my business partner sitting here, there's been times where my work life, for example, is just too much, and I'm not able to be as present or as hands-on with certain things as she is because she has the time freedom. So I think that having a certain level of grace is definitely required, and that's something that I had to learn, and I'm still in the process of learning. But overall, I think that when we really get into the nitty-gritty of it, a lot of people aren't really ready for partnerships as ready as they think they are, if that makes sense.
No, that's a fact.
Absolutely.
And I think another huge part of it is definitely communication. I feel like things get so misconstrued so many times because we just assume our partner should know that we need lifting in this area, or we just assume that it should be known already. But if there's no communication, that's what usually causes friction.
That's a fact. What's your thoughts on the Q?
So, we often talk about, men being the leaders and have, steer the ship ahead. I think that's a thing that kind of goes unspoken with men or in relationships, where it's like you have to, you're already kind of leading things and withstanding stuff. So then let's say, because everybody goes through down times and down seasons, but I think it's never really, communication is important, but I feel like it's also like even if it's communicated, like how can you really communicate to someone properly if they also maybe not even in the season to even receive the information? So I'm telling you, it's like a lot for me to kind of hold this up, whatever. But do you even have the energy to even click in for real? So I just think that's like it could be tricky because whether it's a time freedom, whatever, if you just generally don't have the time, even if you communicate it, it's also up to her to have the bandwidth and ability to still.
So I think that
keep afloat at the same time.
To your point, right? I think that when we start talking about the communication being effective, it comes down to being able to assess and adjust. So if you in the down season and you know when it was two of y'all could carry 100 pounds because you got 50, this person got 50, but this person can't sustain carrying 100 pounds by themselves. So that's when it becomes overwhelming and overbearing. Okay, what about this weight can we get rid of in this season as well? So can we put off 40 pounds? So this 60 is like you only carrying an extra 10. You follow what I'm saying? So for instance, if you're in a relationship and you, the man, and you lose your job, whatever the case may be, that's where downsizing becomes the conversation. Look, for the next 6 months or for the next 9 months, we finna go to your mom crib, my mom crib. You got to go here, I'll go there, or we got to go ahead and do that. We got to cut off these subscriptions. We got to do. That's where the plan comes into place to be able to assess and readjust so that you can start to pick the way back up. And it's transparent across the board in our partnerships because life is always going to be what it is, but it becomes a strain on a relationship when a person is trying to maintain and sustain the level of two people. You're not supposed to be able to do that, but it's like how, that's why one thing I never was afraid to do was downsize. I didn't got rid of cars. I didn't got rid of jewelry. I didn't got rid of shit like, oh wait, this shit gotta go because I went from a crib going back to a 1-bedroom just recently to now upgrade because I understand that in them seasons where it becomes challenging, whether you carrying it for a business partner, a relationship partner, or even just for yourself, you want to be able to assess and be like, all right, cool. If I want to get back to sustaining this is how I sustain in this season, but you never want to drop it. But what tends to happen in those seasons, it gets so heavy, what people do? They drop it. And then next thing you know, the relationship, the partnership, it tends to dissolve and it never survived those seasons because they never sat down, assessed, and then readjusted.
And also I would say as well, I feel often, we spoke of this before, and when like your partner's going through a journey and you're attached to that journey. I also feel we spoke about that's why like benchmarks are important. Cause let's say, you know what, I'm just gonna be down for like this amount of time.
6 months, 9 months.
Yeah, it's like, all right, say less. I'm gonna hold 100 for the 6-9 months. Then you get to 16 months. It's like, all right, like.
Okay, so I'm sorry to cut you off.
I guess
but okay, so the first thing that popped into my mind when you made your comment about like being able to like downsize or downscale in an intimate relationship, right? I think that the first thing that popped into my mind was that my level of grace is different in my partnership with women than it is in my relationship with men. Now that's a whole different other story. However, how do you extend grace when benchmarks aren't met?
That's when grace comes.
And then how do you reevaluate? Exactly.
Yeah.
That's when grace is most vital. But also, how do you reevaluate? Because also, I've been the friend that has been vented to about situations or relationships where it was like, okay, this was the expectation, this was the standard in the beginning, this was not met. You going through a hard season right now, but I'm not entitled to go through that with you. So when you talk about going obligated, yeah. But also when you talked about being assigned to the journey, it's like, that's real, but also what's the pros and cons and how do you identify when it's time to hold on and when it's time to let go because you're hurting yourself even more 100%. In the process?
That really come down to your threshold, like your bandwidth, like your barometer. You gotta know that going into it. Like, look, this is my bound. This is what I want. You don't gotta say it, but it's a self thing. It's like, all right, I know how much that I can endure on this journey, and then after a while, you gotta be honest with yourself because the detriment to you is a detriment to the relationship. Because then you're not gonna want to show up because now you irritated. Like a motherfucker might just be getting a spark, but you already 6 months past your threshold. So now you got the energy that is swung. So it's really about being able to assess that and identify, like, yo, you know what? I know that I could, when it start to get a little challenging, I'm gonna start to communicate that. Like, all right, this is becoming a challenge. When it become overwhelming or overbearing, I'm gonna communicate that as well. And when it become too much, guess what? That's my final end all be all. It became too much. I tried. I could walk away knowing that I gave you the amount of grace that I had to give, because grace should be unlimited, but opportunities aren't, right? So it's like, I got an unlimited amount of grace for you to grow, but the opportunities I'm gonna give you to hold me, absolutely not. Like, that has a limit, and that's what we gotta know going into it so that we don't stay 10 years past our threshold. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Can you elaborate a little bit more on grace being unlimited though?
I feel like unlimited grace comes from Jesus Christ himself.
That's why it has to be unlimited though. Because
and he instills it in you, or are you saying only he has it for you?
No, he instills it within us as believers, right? But also we go through this wrestle between flesh and spirit, like right in the principalities. It's difficult for us to sit here and say grace is unlimited and to follow by that, just like we're sinners by nature. It's certain things that we want to do, but our flesh and worldly desires just fight against that.
It's not really realistic.
But when I say unlimited, it just means that it's abundant. It don't mean that you have the capacity to give it unlimitedly. It's just saying like it should be no like, how do you measure grace? Like, I got 10 times for you. It's really like it's grace. If your kid not learning fast enough, you don't just say fuck the kid. Oh shit, I should have got rid of, like, you extend grace. My kid just ate
4 apples. Like, why?
I don't know. Somebody need to call my mom right now.
Like, but that's when you trigger. That's when you know it's lacking grace, because there's no patience. But sometimes we gotta go into these partnerships, into these relationships with the mindset of the grace that we would give our children, because those are the ones that we know. What I expect you to. What I expect you 3. So it's like, we got to start getting our partner. What I expect you going through it right now. So you're a little more irritable. You're a little less patient. You're a little more reactive. Not because this is who you are in the natural, but this is who you are in this season. How much I want to be around it is going to determine how much time I spend in that space. But the fact of the matter is, the grace is knowing that this ain't even you for real. This is who you are in this moment. But if it do or don't change, I'm gonna just understand that I gave you the grace to be able to do so, versus making you feel like you wrong for this, or like you're not. And that's what people do. They sit around and they'll condemn you for being down.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But I wanted to elaborate on it, but that's kind of like where I was thinking with it. It's unlimited because God was all forgiving. You could sin all day, every day, and still go back and pray, and still, like, that's what it was all for, right? That's why He rose, right, for that reason. So, who are we to not extend grace? I don't gotta tolerate. If you late every day, I could be like, all right, you know what? They got a lot going on in the crib, but you could still get fired. The grace ain't saying that you keep the job. It's like, I gave you grace. Like, I'm not about to curse you out. I'm not about to be mad. It's just, you just not the person for this position. And that's okay. But you still human, and I'm not about to sit here and look at you different. You just won't have this position.
So giving grace is just understanding.
100%. Essentially, that's the thing.
But not tolerating.
Yeah, that's your boundary. Because it's like, when do you feel like some? Imagine,
because tolerance is
that's
sorry, but
I'm
tolerance.
trying to pass it to one of y'all.
Yeah, but I think the difference between the two, when you mention tolerance, is that's mercy. Mercy goes hand in hand with tolerance, but grace is really just understanding.
Yeah, it's just understanding. It's like, I feel you. Like, it's like, all right, cool. Like, you couldn't make it to work today. That's cool. That don't mean if you do it 10 times, you're not gonna get fired.
Still gotta go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I can admit, as a person who, like, I have like a high bandwidth, I can really kind of take most things in stride. So that's
somebody on their birthday.
Just go in front of company.
You started it
On their birthday by email.
Yeah, by email.
On their day off.
When they was already off, don't even worry about coming back.
It's like one after the next.
Everybody, ladies and gentlemen,
birthday,
here's HR.
HR,
HR, ladies and gentlemen.
You need HR consulting, you can hit me in the bio, I can
Hit me. I gotta get my percentage. I'm still a businessman.
But what was I saying? Oh, but as a person who has a high bandwidth, I don't really, knock on wood, I haven't had much down seasons. I kind of just, take life as it comes, take it in stride, whatever. I get that from my folks, whatever. It's been tedious at times throughout my life to deal with people who go through those down seasons. Cause I'm not like an asshole. Be like, bitch, get the fuck off the ground. What the fuck wrong? Life ain't that hard, but it's hard for me to be like, all right, but like,
you don't understand.
What's the
that you don't relate to?
Yeah, the time.
The first person.
What is that?
You the first person that you just described to get the fuck up. It ain't that deep. That's you.
He said that's not me, but basically.
Okay, so
internal thoughts. Internal.
I definitely feel that though. I think that's something that I have experienced, but also I have a hard time extending grace. And the moment I realized that, I think as I'm navigating through like career development and stuff, I realized I have a hard time extending grace to others because I have a hard time extending grace to myself.
Challenging.
Yeah, a challenging time.
Yeah.
But
cool challenging. It's better than hard.
But
what you mean to yourself?
Like, I beat myself up. Yeah, I'm like, I live with myself, right? But when I'm experiencing these difficult challenges or just navigating life in general, the first thing I do is nobody else can like make me feel any type of way because I make myself feel some type of way, So that level of understanding and grace, I don't have that for myself. So it's very hard for me to see other people go through stuff and feel empathize with them, transparently speaking.
That's a real thing. That's a real thing.
And awareness is key. So I definitely respect that. And I can definitely relate to it because, like I said, it's the same way because I don't really go through those down seasons when people are, and again, to go through is one thing, but to stay in it is like, all right, like.
Absolutely.
And I'm supposed to also compensate and lift more. So it's like, again, I think about with the pot. Let's say I'm going through my own shit. I'm coming here late or I can't make the flight or whatever. It's like, nigga.
I really don't
You're
care
like-
about
you're-
that. We got a business
Like,
at the
all
end
right,
of
you
the day.
gonna be your shit, but like, nigga,
But yeah,
keep that shit home or
that's
whatever.
not,
Because
not
at that
grace
point-
though.
At
What
that
is it?
point, you're not just hindering yourself though, because
You're
you got
affecting-
a partner. You working with
and that's
somebody.
partnership across the board. Like,
Yeah.
But that's the tolerance thing. Like it's like the grace is just like understanding. Damn, I know you got a kid. You couldn't make your flight. You had some car troubles. That's the grace. The tolerance is like you no longer a part of this production. Like I don't have to tolerate that because that's bringing up what she just said. That's bringing the level and the standard in which we hold ourselves to. But one thing that you said when you said you don't extend others grace. Before I even get to you saying like you don't extend yourself grace or whatever, because I'll let you unpack. I think that we were just talking recently about like people extending other people grace or whatever the case may be. And damn, I lost it. I lost my train of thought. It'll come back to me. It'll come because I was trying to hold 2 points at once. But the fact of the matter is when you're not giving other people grace, it come down to expectation of an end or
Of a
be-all result.
solution.
It's like you already got the end goal in mind, what you see it should be, and you got a timeline for it. So you like, why don't you?
Yeah.
Why are you not seeing what I'm seeing?
I learned
Yeah.
that. Listen, I learned that in one of my relationships. I was like, oh shit, I don't give grace. So from that moment, because it was like I knew she could be who she was going to be, because even still to this moment, I see her still becoming everything that was talked about. But at the same time, it was like for me, I'm like, I'm about to be 30. I got these kids. Like my timeline look a little different. So I ain't got time to wait for you to go through these growing pains in these 20s. Like I'm on my way out of them. So like we have two different spaces. That's why I said at the time, I said the foresight in me was like, this joint got to end. For that reason alone, because I realized that I didn't have the patience to watch her go through her growing pains, and I wasn't going to give her the grace. But moving forward, I said, okay, I have to have grace. I have to remove my expectation of what I think is supposed to happen, and just understand that if it's not happening when I wanted to, I got one or two options: extend more grace, be more patient, or I could just remove myself.
Yeah.
But to also extend more grace is kind of like we said, that's just going to hinder yourself more. Everybody move and grows at their own time pace during their own journeys. So at your time, when it was time for you to grow, just because you extending grace or understood, don't mean that you have to stop your
No, that's
path
a
or
fact.
stop
That's a
your
big
journey
fact. Yeah.
to wait up for her.
No, that's a fact. That's why it's like I told her, I said, look, what you don't understand in this situation is like me capturing you is like putting a butterfly in a jar. It's only one thing that can happen. You know what I'm saying? So I had to let you go and be free because I already understood that the clamps and the restraints I was going to put on your life at that season of my life to lock in wasn't going to fit the blossoming and the blooming part of where she needed to be. Like,
that's a good way to break up with someone. That's a good way.
you
Butterfly. Yeah, I don't want to trap
I
you.
don't want to trap you.
Yeah,
Let you fly.
The metaphors is crazy.
that boy good.
That's legitimately
Make him
what
feel
I
good
said.
about
Right.
breaking up with him.
Butterfly. I ain't mad about it. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead.
That's what it, y'all funny.
I already
That's
know you
legitimately
you
what
gonna be
I
a
said,
butterfly
though.
one day. Just not right now.
No, but it's like
And
my
right now I
guard
need a
wasn't
butterfly.
even- My guard wasn't
got
even
time
ready
for the
for a
caterpillar.
butterfly. Like you feel me? I had a jar. I ain't have a garden yet. You know what I'm saying? I needed to plant the seeds for the garden for the butterfly to be able to do what it do.
Ladies, what when y'all think about getting married, if you want to get married or not, is the price point a part of that idea or vision? Like whether it's the ring, the wedding, the honeymoon, does money come into, or the more so no, like I just care about us being on the same page, and that's it. It can be open ended after from that point on.
So money definitely comes into play, but not as far as price point with like wedding, honeymoon, ring.
Okay.
Money as far as security and stability.
So
as
what's
far
that
as,
number?
Of like your overhead, or
Oh, you asking like for a specific number?
No, I was. Or was you?
no, go for it.
Oh, I was.
Like,
As
is there a
far as
certain
what,
number
like-
that's too low?
Like you gotta have
I
a.
don't know.
What do you
I don't
when
have-
you
I don't
ask
have
for
no-
a specific number? Are you saying like this? How much you gotta pay me, or like what you mean?
No,
Hey, you
that's
crazy.
What do you mean? A certain
he's
number? Like
married
this how
me.
much you got having your
Yeah,
account?
Nah, so when you say security, I'm like, well, what makes you feel secure? What's that amount? If it is one, or what's that? What's
Yeah, I
that?
wouldn't say it's a certain number amount.
Okay, then-
Like y'all like overhead and lifestyle,
just being able to sustain.
and
it,
I guess
essentially.
trajectory of it.
I just like
Being
that for
able,
context.
being able to sustain our lifestyle though, not like.
But all right. So is it the lifestyle you live now, or is it like?
It would definitely have to be the lifestyle I live now or beyond.
All right, yeah, I understand. I just want
At
to.
minimum of what I live now. Actually, what I live now is not enough.
Now she talking.
Oh,
Yeah, now she locked in.
Not enough.
She be on it. She don't. They gonna be on her ass and she don't give a fuck.
Yeah, she sat in. No, actually, I think I'm.
We do be on her ass
Not
every
every
episode.
time.
Even when it's just y'all shit though, I'm like, yo, what's all?
And it just be me.
But it's just, yo, they be on her ass. She said, when I sit
They
back
be
and
doing
think about it,
me
I can't think of nothing. I said,
Yeah, that was
But
a wild
I be
one.
being honest. Like,
I respect it. But she
They
was
want
like,
me
you
to
give
get on
forever
her
to think
line.
about it. I was like, I wasn't even trying to save face. I'm like, you like,
I still can't think about
He
it.
said, "I'm gonna give you a."
So I've
moment
been
to
thinking about it
think
for months. I still can't believe on it.
doubled down. I still can't think about it.
I respect it.
Wow. But no, what's your thoughts?
I think that my response goes hand in hand with Destiny said,
Hmm?
but also like when I envision my future self, I think because I don't come from a huge family, I want a lot of kids. So I have 4 god kids, and I would if I could have like another 3-4 kids or more, if I could financially
team.
afford them, I do want I want a whole team. But honestly,
Jackson 5.
seriously,
Jackson 9. She
but
said-
when I
she
think
said
about
four.
when I think about it, I think as a woman, our natural response is financial security, like a form of security. And I think that the media just has a way of distorting that by like the city girls and the whole agendas and all that other stuff, because money is important, right? We do need that to feel secure. But as far as a price point, to answer your question, I don't think I have a price point. But when you talk about the wedding and stuff like that, I think I just recently came to the state of mind where it's like it depends on where we're at when we come together as a union, because I'm real big on like our debt need to be like vanished.
No, that's a
like
fact.
we can't be taking
That's
out
one thing people
loans
don't
for
talk about.
we can't be taking out loans to get married.
You married debt.
They get
Chris
debt.
was talking about even like the whole wedding thing with celebrating.
What are you celebrating?
Celebrate
Because you
debt.
come home from the honeymoon and then reality kick in, you start
then
getting
you got
bills
all
in the
these
mail,
bills
and it's
to
like,
pay.
whoa. So if honestly, it just depends on like where we're both at the time of us becoming a union. But then also like if we got it, like let's walk. Because I do want a nice wedding, but I'm on the type time where I'll get married and then have like an anniversary wedding.
Yeah,
Like if we locked in for 5 years or whatever the case may be, whatever milestone we want to celebrate, then let's
makes
ball.
perfect sense.
That's what I'm doing. All right, so the wedding's kind of like in the air. The ring. So I was talking to a girl recently. She was saying like, yeah, like I think that's a myth that men just try to put on women, that women just care about them. And I'm like, well, it may be a gas narrative, but it's definitely women that think, oh, the ring, oh, that's part of that this type of carrot, this type of cut, whatever. A man don't give a fuck about another man's wedding band or even another woman. He's not gonna look at a woman's ring. That's like our brain isn't going straight to money, but women will be like, it gotta be cost this amount of
think
money
so.
for the ring.
I think so. I
Okay.
think that especially because men don't care about it, when you go the extra mile to really be invested in something that you're going to give your partner, especially what is symbolic for it, you showing that like being invested in the process, the cut, the carrot count, all of that stuff shows like how embedded you are in the process or invested you are.
Like.
Yeah, it's a form of consideration, honestly.
So that I'm
Yeah,
about to say that's
yeah.
my question. So
What's
are
the
you
number?
saying
It's not-
what I like is what's need to be considered as if the cut, the size, and all that, or
Right.
are you saying I don't care what it look like, it just need to cost this amount of money?
No, I care about what it's for me. It's consideration.
Okay.
Okay,
But
so-
definitely, I don't want like you ain't finna go get me
Let's-
$1,000.
carrot.
Okay, so I was like,
$1,000. Yeah.
let's
My earrings, my little diamond earrings is more than
let's
that.
say it look like everything you want. It look beautiful to you, this and that, whatever. Then somehow you found that it costs $900.
That ain't that means
Oh,
it's
no.
not.
It's from
it's not
Pandora.
based on the test.
No, seriously, I'm gonna feel
It's
disrespected.
not based on the
No,
test.
honestly, because it's just so different. And speaking from personal experience, because like that cares to me, but also I have friends who seem to be really in love, who will be fine with that, and I love that so bad for them. But I can't bring myself.
you.
I just
For
can't
you,
bring.
exactly.
I can't bring myself. I will feel so
For the Pandora
disrespected
ring.
because it's like when you're courting someone, right? You see the type of lifestyle that they live. You see the way that they carry themselves, the type of things that they buy themselves. So it's like if I got a bag
And
that costs more
that's
than
what I
But
about
that-
my lifestyle.
But no, so that
or-
made me bring the question is like, how did the person that can't afford it even get access to you?
that's a good question because that would never happen to me. But also, I don't want this to sound like
No,
a slighted comment. Also, but I have friends who really don't care about money and they
Right.
are genuinely happy.
They're
so
compatible
the
in that way.
access is just like a little bit
Yeah.
different.
No, so that's why we don't even got to speak to the friends. We
Yeah.
just speak strictly
So for
to
me
you.
personally, I don't think that I would not find myself, and I don't even have to say think. I would not find myself in a situation like
something y'all
that.
said, right? And I feel like there's a commonality in a lot of the conversations that women say where they're like, if you already see I'm living like this, then why would you present me that? It's like, if you already living like this, then why would you accept that? Because
Absolutely.
like, can't nobody
Very true.
present, can't nobody force nothing down your throat.
Absolutely.
You gonna eat this Applebee's and you go, it's
Yeah.
like, you know, I took you here, you had the opportunity to leave, to to end
That's
it,
why I leave.
and you yo,
I
and
won't
you
leave.
No, but
and you, hold on,
seriously.
and you decided to continue. You feel what I'm saying? So I do feel like there's a certain thing I talk about all the time where it's about dating within your mean, right?
Absolutely.
And it's not like I don't look at women who have worked their way to get to a certain point as shallow if they feel like, because there's a difference between standards and expectations. I feel like a lot of women get it wrong, right? Women come into relationships with expectations when they should just set standards, right?
Absolutely.
It's a standard with how I carry myself. I naturally live a certain life. I naturally eat. So if I go to dinner, it's naturally going to be at a certain restaurant.
Exactly.
I'm not going below or above the standard that I live. The woman that I attract and that I take out got one or two options. It's either enough for you or it might be too much for you. I could either take you from something that you never had, introduce you to something new, or it could be something where you're like, yeah, I go everywhere and I eat this. This ain't my love. But the fact of the matter is I'm setting the standard. So that standard is not just limited to the material sense. I set a standard of how I communicate, how I allow somebody to communicate with me in terms of like what words I'm accepting and what words I'm like, you're not going to talk to me like that.
Yeah.
How I decide to allocate my time. So when you operate off a standard, I don't have to expect anything out of somebody. I only
agree.
attract people that's at that standard.
Exactly.
And if they not going to be able to sustain. And if
Yeah.
they too much, they're going to instantly be able to assess it and be like, I'm already beyond that. So
Yeah.
that's where I feel like when women come into a situation, they're looking at it like, all right, well, if you can't do this and if you can't do that, look at the standard in which somebody is living. That's an easy assessment.
You
Not
shouldn't even have to have that conversation.
no, but the conversation is
I
only.
think this conversation needs to be held honestly, and amongst women particularly, because like
Amongst women.
there's so many women within our community like that we deal with, and it's like we have these similar conversations, and it's like, are you being logical? Are you being realistic? Right?
Wasn't we just talking about that?
Yeah, we
It's
really
like how you if your standard is like that's what expectation. I expect you to take me here, but your standard is like.
But to speak to another point, the standards sometimes in most cases be built off of somebody else
that's
keeping
not
it
a
upholding.
that's not a standard then.
So what is
But
that
it is a
considered?
standard for that time being, like for a short
Yeah,
period of
that's-
time.
yeah,
So
yeah.
once you leave, you think that a
It's gonna
woman
drop.
would
So
think
a-
that the expectation is supposed to
A
remain
standard
the
is who
same.
you are. Expectation of who you expect others to be.
Yeah, but you could be somebody different in that season with a different partner, because men have this wonderful superhero of
Yeah.
upgrading women. They have the ability to.
Did you
Yeah,
really
do
get
that.
no? When I upgrade a woman, she can't go backwards. I've upgraded women that never went back. If I put you in it's times where I've took women out, they've been to a place they've never been to before, and the moment I stop taking them out, they never go back.
I think
why?
that's the point she was trying to
And
make.
I-
though.
Yeah.
I agree with that, but that's not an upgrade though. I'm saying like, I agree with that being a thing that men do because it'd be like I just want to show her something she never had.
But that is an upgrade, a temporary one. You don't think so?
I like Airbnb versus a crib. If I upgrade you into a crib and I let you stay at Airbnb for a week, it was a short-term rental. This crib, you own this. This is who you are.
She
This is
can't
what it
lose her
is.
crib.
She can't. Can she lose the crib?
Mhm.
It's possible, but if you when you build somebody up, it's backed by things that's like intangible. It's like they mindset, like they become a different person. So
Yeah.
when I
So they
hear
got the
upgrade-
tools to keep
Yeah,
maintaining.
you know what I'm saying? When I
Yeah.
think upgrade, that's just like I'm exposing you to something. I exposed you to this lifestyle.
But
I
you
let
can't
see-
maintain it.
But you can't. It was never yours. It's
Yeah.
like I never get caught up. Even as a man, if I gain access, like if I'm at a $10 million crib and it's like this ain't my fucking house, or just because I'm around the money, don't make it my money. I understand that I'm still a gap away from this. I don't ever let people let the closeness to something make them think that it's theirs. I don't. I'm like, all right, I understand that this is what I have. Even if I get around people that's making $100 million a year, I have people that's doing that type of numbers within their company, right? And it's like, I don't make that type of money in my business, but I don't allow my proximity to make me think that I'm even close to that. I understand the huge gap in my company and the numbers that we do and the numbers but it gives me vision to see what it look like. So when somebody take a woman into that, it give her the opportunity to level her. You know what? I want to continue to live like this. So who do I got to become as a person within self for this not to be temporary? I'm exposing you to it. But the moment that they get comfortable thinking that they on that shit, then that's when they get sent back to that shit.
No, I kind of have this like theory. I haven't really fully thought it out, but I feel like
right now though.
I feel like
The orders.
Let's unpack it.
I feel like men are the ones who like establish the standard though when it comes to women dating.
Break it down.
Because like when I think about like my early dating experiences and like the woman that I am now and how I date, men are the ones who kind of put me on game. If I'm being
1000%.
honest,
Like,
like
wait, just break that down. I get what you want, but I want to hear it.
so for example, like the first time I really actually dated someone, like being a teenager or whatever, he was the one who was like, this, and third. You should never want for
Never accept
nothing.
this.
I'm gonna give you this, and like, and ever since then, it was like that exposure really set the standard for how I move living forward. And it wasn't just Was it expectation? No,
Is
I think
that-
it's the standard because it was maintained throughout that. And it's not just financially like being able to provide money or anything like that, but just like the level of wisdom that somebody is able to give you, or the amount of like financial security someone is able to provide, or the way that somebody communicates or talk to you. It's like my patience is short because that was introduced to me at a younger age.
No,
and it's
that's
like
fine, though.
now it's the standard. It was an expectation. It could have been an expectation.
No, that what you're describing is a standard.
But it wasn't an expectation in the beginning because I wasn't even hit to what was going on. You know what I'm saying?
You explained it. That was what you just explained is a standard. It's okay if you see, the thing is, if you like, I'm not going to tolerate this. This is how I would like to be talked to. This is like this is what I'm doing. This is who I am. Like, I don't eat hot dogs. I'm not about to start eating something I don't. That's a standard. You feel what I'm saying? But the expectation is for somebody to do something for you that you never even set the standard. You don't even know why you want. It's not backed by nothing. It's backed by air because only thing you had was exposure to it. But with that, it sounds like somebody gave you the wisdom and he upgraded your mindset to sustain knowing moving through life. This is how I should carry it.
Yeah.
That's way different than.
I also feel like sometimes though experiences just raise that standard as well.
100%.
As a woman, you can
100%.
say- now I've experienced this because we can say a lot of women or a lot of people settle for less.
So you can say
experience
women.
bare-
This is faith.
settle for less, experience bare minimum. But then once you experience that you could be treated like this, you experience somebody that's attentive, caring, romantic, protective, whatever, you realize like, oh,
This
I can't
do
get this. This
exist.
does exist.
Yeah.
No,
So now I'm not ever
Okay.
accepting nothing less than
That's exposure.
But,
That's
but
the
listen though,
exposure.
so I'm glad you even said that, right? That's how a lot of women get fucked out of their marriage too, though. Because it's like, I already know that I could come into a situation where I could offer you instant things that your husband probably been working 10 years to get you.
80-20.
You know what I'm saying? And you lose sight because you've been rocking with the 80s so long, and the 20 has been something that you always wanted because everybody want the perfect, complete picture, and somebody come and present the 20 and it's immediate and it's instant. And you like, oh, this person could buy me bags. This person could take me on trips out the country. I don't gotta wait for this. I don't gotta wait for that. I don't want to settle for nothing less. But it's like you traded the 80 for the 20, and that 20 was a movie. They was running like it's a motherfucker, right? Not even a movie. It was an episode. Motherfucker had an episode with you, and it's like, I'm not saying this to pertain specifically to what you're saying, but I'm telling you that that's literally the landscape of what happened to a lot of women. That's how they get tricked, because just because you got exposed to it, the standard would be if you literally got a 6-figure job as a woman, you live a 6-figure lifestyle. That's the standard. No nigga can take that away. If he say, I'm never touching you again, you live at that standard. If you got if you're making 70K, it don't even gotta be 70K, you live in a 70K lifestyle. But for a woman making 70K, she might even live like a high 6-figure lifestyle, because the rooms you can naturally, you can get yourself in by how you can upkeep yourself is gonna put you around a way higher quality of man. So it's like, you got the money to take yourself to the luxury places, to run into the men that got the money that see, like, all right, she clearly got something going on because she here. So you can fast track your way beyond, and you already created a base level standard. But if you literally coming from making whatever you making, let's say like whatever a standard typical wage is in a state, and you fuck with a nigga because he think you pretty, right? Because niggas don't check, we don't go after women like, oh, yo, bro, she dry this, she make this. Niggas say that as a flex on top of the fact that she's a dope individual, but it's like, yo, and she got this, and niggas don't leave with, oh yeah, she dry this. We don't give a fuck about it, because we understand that ultimately it's on us to take y'all to that next level, or aid and facilitating y'all getting better in development. So we never gonna lead with the material things. We're gonna lead, yeah, man, she dope. She carry herself like this. I like the way she do this. And she got her own little shit going on. That'd be like the extra thing. So with that being the case, if you already got the this part situated, when you get in the rooms, the other stuff is just gonna be thrown at you. That's when a motherfucker start to provide for you in that way, because you already presented yourself to a standard of being a quality individual. But if you're just a Walmart, no, I don't want to throw jobs out there. If you're just a person that, because that's wherever you work is where you work. But you can't work somewhere where you're making minimum wage and think that you're gonna attract somebody, because the person that you're thinking about don't even be here on a regular.
Right.
Like you in the mom and pop
They
shop.
go to Target.
Okay,
Yeah,
but you
I
said, go ahead.
I was just about to say real
I was
fast.
about
I
to
wanted
land,
to
but it's
also,
My bad.
I wanted to add in real fast though. When I said they introduce you to these experiences, I wasn't always talking about like financial or material.
That's why I said I ain't talking about what y'all talking about too.
Okay.
No, but go ahead.
That's just what I was.
Oh
just
no.
gonna
I
say.
made sure to say I'm not even just. So a lot of the
then they gonna
times
be like,
we talking to the world. Y'all might pose something,
Mm-hmm.
but it ain't like your example might make me realize there's 70,000 women that need to hear what I'm about to say. That might not be for y'all, but what you said took it there. But the fact of the matter is, yeah, it don't always got to be financial.
Yeah.
It is the exposure, but you then have to work to maintain and sustain that, and that becomes internal. What tends to happen is a woman might get fucked in a mansion and think that she should be living in that mansion. No, you
Right.
got fucked in this mansion. You wasn't supposed to live here. In order to get to this mansion, you have to become the person that attracts a man that's either at that level or go build with one who planning on being at that level. But But thinking that, oh well, I ain't about to come to your little one bedroom. You don't even have nowhere to stay. What are you talking about?
No, right. That's pretty valid, honestly.
You understand?
That's
What are you
accurate.
talking about? But as men, I always say, man, don't take it personal. This is how this shit go. Like, I say this with all due respect, but for every chick who heals you when she had another man's feet, I'm not about to be on no chick heels when I know it's a nigga feet that she at. I'm gonna work myself to the point where being at a man's feet don't necessarily got to be taken as a degrading statement. I'm saying like she want his attention. Right. She's looking up to him.
She going at it. Yeah, she's going after
You follow what I'm saying? You like, oh my gosh, you got her up on this. But no, look, find a woman that's either directly across from you or the ones that's at your feet. Why? Because they put you through less of a hoop, and the experience you provide for them can be appreciated. And it's like, because you can sustain it. It's like you taking on a place you can sustain. But when you try to play at this level, you didn't get to that level yet.
Let's talk
now
about
she
it.
making you feel below because she naturally talking about the shit that happened and did, and you feel like she trying to throw it in. But ultimately, you was playing up when you should have been playing across or dealing with the women that's pulling your leg because they out here.
Yeah.
Slightly related to that, ladies, have you ever heard the expression that a man should love the woman more?
Yeah.
Yep.
You should date woman as women. We hear a
Date
phrase.
the
You should.
one
Yeah, that loves
likes
you.
or
So-
loves
That loves
more
you.
than
On your
love
heels?
him.
Yeah.
Basically, I
Absolutely.
was just about to say everything that you said is the
What,
same.
reverse it?
advice
Like-
to women. But
I think that
no, not
before we
completely
pivot
with
from
that, because
Keep my
men,
clothes up.
I do believe that men are supposed to, lead and be the head of household and all that type of stuff. But it is very true that you got to date the ones that
love you.
love you
As a woman.
more, not
Absolutely.
just love you, that love you more.
That love you in comparison to like. But also,
More.
before we pivot off of what you said, I think that a lot of
Just
people
hold that point. Go ahead.
I think that a lot of people
let her
really
get the
be
fuck away with
ruining
that.
their relationship, like their marriages, thinking about things from that perspective. Because when you think about it, like
Which
if you,
perspective for a second?
I'm about to break it down. So if you're dealing with somebody who's a millionaire, right, and he take you on a shopping spree or buy you that $1,000 bag, that's completely different than your man that's working a 9 to 5. So people get the exposure for sure and ruin their relationship, but also, how do you make the difference between this is just an experience and I'm being exposed to a good time versus like, let me not mess up the security,
can tell you
stability
exactly
that I
how it
have
is.
at home? Because I
Yeah.
think that people be so caught up in the moment having such a great time that they forget about like this the one who I see longevity with. This the one who I'm actually
Yeah,
invested
that's a good
with.
question. I want to.
Okay, go ahead.
What you about to add to
I
it?
was
You
just
could.
about to add to
Go
it.
ahead, go
I
ahead.
was about to say, and not only just that, we got to also add, like you said, the millionaire that take you on a shopping spree. That's nothing.
It don't
from
mean
him.
nothing for him.
In comparison
It's
to the
all
man that's
relative,
doing
yeah.
everything
Yeah.
he has.
But you asked a question, and I'm gonna give it to you straight like this. It comes down to how fast we reveal that experience to you. Because if I'm seriously pursuing you, I'm not even gonna show my whole hand that fast. And what I mean by that is now sometimes you could be so far above a chick and where she at that the little shit to you that means nothing could be a lot. Like
Honestly.
I naturally just go to these restaurants. So me taking you here, this ain't because some women might make something significant and it wasn't even that deep. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
girl, he did this, he did that means nothing. But when it comes down to it, I want to see you in every phase and every season of your life and mine. And it don't got to be like the whole 4 seasons because it might not be. But at the same time, I'm not going to roll everything out. But if I'm trying to show you this within the first 48 hours, that's what we call it. I'm trying to kill this in the first 48. Like I'm trying to knock this down. So you need to see as much as I need you to see in this fast process so you could give me the pussy fast and we could go on back and I'm on to the next because we hunters. But in the event where it's like I'm kind of, it ain't about fucking fast because it's just about taking it slow. The questions we asking is we invested into the things you got because before we like to size up any problem before we take it on. I need to know what the fuck going on in your life. So if I'm asking questions that's contingent upon what you got going on, trying to identify and be able to learn about your overhead or if you got kids, what the baby father baby mom dynamic is like, what your daddy issues or mom, like if I'm trying to learn certain things about you, that means I have intention to pursue you farther. And this don't mean that this can't be on the first combo and the motherfucker be running game because all of these things none of it is 100% foolproof, but these is the parameters that you can pay attention to be able to say, okay, this at least aligns with that, right? It limits the straight out bullshit. But if I'm giving you all of this shit fast and it's a fast life, this is a fast experience. But if I'm slow walking it, taking my time, then that means, no, I'm like, we men, this is what we do. We be knowing, like, all right, like I'm in a club, I already know how this shit finna play out. She gonna see the light show. You know what I'm saying? This is for the women that's in that environment, right? Because I can use any other world, but I'm using the club just because most of this shit tend to happen in the club. She gonna see the light show. Whatever we gonna let them rock with us. We're gonna give them this whole night experience. We're gonna hear from here to the diner. From the diner, we're gonna go there. We're gonna have a whole fucking from till 6, 7 a.m. We up. We going wherever after hour, wherever we going, wherever the case may be. That next day, I'm heavily producing you. I want to take you to breakfast. I want to take you to lunch. I want to take you to dinner. But I gotta see you again on that second day because I need this to still last a little bit. This effect
Keep momentum.
Then,
Keep momentum.
you know what I'm saying? Either that night, that Saturday, I'm trying to knock you down, or Sunday, maybe I got to double back again, or maybe it take a week, but I'm not even too much on you for this week because I'm kind of like letting your mind wonder. You just had an amazing weekend. I didn't press
That's
it.
crazy.
It
That's
sound
like
like you kinda good at
narcissistic
this.
stuff.
That's not narcissistic.
Crazy.
I'm telling y'all, no. No, wait. We got to watch our words. I'm telling y'all flat out, y'all asked me about a particular type of guy.
That's crazy.
This is not, this,
I'm not saying you.
No,
I
let
said
me
that
finish.
sound
No,
like
but I can turn around and tell you how the women play the game too.
how we play.
Walk them down.
How?
Interesting.
Yeah,
Walk-
tell
walk 'em
us.
down.
Manipulative. What are you talking about? This y'all know who to pull on for what. We talked about this already. You know how to pull from a nigga. All right, this is a nigga I gotta give an attitude problem to. If I cry, I get my way with him. I don't even text him, but I'm gonna text him now conveniently because I need this from. It's just the game. Like I don't like when people try to make when y'all on a seat where y'all getting the short end of the stick. Now it's manipulative, but every other thing and every other way y'all play the game is manipulative and
game.
it's perfectly fine. No, we got to understand that is way that men like that play the game, is way that women like that play the game. You ask me how to discern the difference in the two. I'm telling you, if a motherfucker is giving you the run around fast, that's what it typically is. If a motherfucker is slow walking, it don't mean that a nigga can't slow walk you down, realize like, yo, she not for me. I cracked, I'm done. This is the reality of how this shit go. But the thing be knowing yourself so we can, because like, how do I stop a woman from seeing what I got going on and trying to come up off? Like, this is where discernment and knowing yourself and knowing your boundaries and what you're willing to tolerate come into play, because the same amount of game that I was able to run growing up, the same amount of game that was running on me, this shit is just what it is. But when you're going to have a true and honorable and honest partnership, you got to do work within yourself to be able to repel those type of people. Like I started off by saying there's certain women that I don't even attract because I don't present myself as a nigga. They don't know how successful I am. No matter how much my money grow, I'm not changing how I'm posting, what I'm buying. I don't even want to attract a woman that didn't want the person that was, I'm not even knowing that. But it's like you get close enough, you see like, oh, all right, I see what the fuck going on. That's not my goal to put it out there in a way that, because a nigga will do that. He want to show his watch, he want to show his chain. Then he attract those fast women, and then they got these high ass expectations because they searching that mansion lifestyle.
Yeah.
They want to, and with the lack of foresight.
Mansion experience.
The mansion experience, better words. The lack of foresight, like you said, how do you not give up your security and your stability, is because there's no foresight. So they looking at it like, oh, this moment right now, he must love me. You know what I mean? And it's like, y'all don't have foresight, I'm sorry. But men, so you got to have foresight. What the fuck?
So you invited us on the...
That's what it feel like.
Like, are we the guest or...
I didn't mean to say, I'm not saying Sa Dest though. I'm saying like in more
Nah,
cases
we
than
get it.
not,
We
women
get it.
have foresight, yeah.
Nah, but I'm sorry. Y'all, before we pivoted there, you said something about the fast tracking, right? So do y'all think that... I'm asking y'all questions like it's my podcast, but do
I
y'all
know she
think
really
that it's
is taking over the
important-
fight, but I'm letting her
I'm
know.
sorry.
No, do you think?
But do y'all
Yes.
think that it's important for like both women and men to take be in a season of isolation where they just really hone in and focus on themselves and build
100%.
themselves up? Because when we talk about where you see yourself dating or who you see yourself to be in the future, you talked about being able to fast track that by putting yourself or carrying yourself a certain way or putting yourself in a different environment. Do you think that season of isolation or a season of just investing in yourself plays a role in that? Or
I think so.
Yeah, I definitely think, and I think individual journeys are underrated because we often are paired with people, whether it's friendship, romantic, or whatever. But I think people don't put enough onus on themselves to walk that path and pour into yourself and develop yourself to be better versus like, oh, I need you to hold me up while I'm doing, I need you to help me through this. It's like, oh, so that's literally your path. Like I don't know, dear sister. So it's like, I don't finish the shit. I don't fucking know. Like I'm here to support at certain times, but it's also up to you to really get yourself to
Nobody
that
can
goal.
graduate for you. Nobody gonna walk that out.
Walk across that stage.
Nobody
Like
can
I
for you.
be in a crowd class or whatever.
I even tutor you, whatever.
Right,
was
but
about to
yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You gotta-
I was about to say I wanted to also add, because you was asking with men, you gave the example of being super locked in. It's definitely important. And I don't think it's spoke about enough that women should lock in and develop themselves, career, mentally, physically, like in all ways, because the more we develop ourselves, because a lot of women are just with men because they have to be. They're with men because,
but that's the time that we coming from.
Yeah,
I
but
think that was the times way before, and then I think now is way different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like way before.
but women are never like
decades
how they
ago.
tell men like how you shouldn't date if you broke. Put your head down. Lock
I feel like
in.
the same for women, and that's why I wanted to get
Exactly.
y'all perspective as
Because
men,
when you're-
because I also feel like not even the broke situation, but just like growing yourself and becoming more
entirely,
self-aware.
yeah.
Because I feel like that's like the season that I was in, or like I'm stepping out of, and I feel like when I was in that for the last few years, people would just be like, men don't care about those things, which I'm sure they don't. But also, it's
I
like
do.
being for
'Cause
me, it's
like,
a
I'm not
personal
gonna
thing, like
you
a
once
value.
I get myself together, probably.
Yeah, it's like as a woman, you want to be able to add value to a situation, but it's sometimes it's not even. I think men don't care, right? But it's a personal thing. But I think women being self-aware allows us to put things in perspective. Like, this is how I add value, and being able to articulate that to men. Because before that, you won't be able to know.
Go ahead. I got some.
So real quick, so I don't think it's necessary that men don't care. It's not like a top priority of like what your career goals or aspirations or status is. Like, where typically for women it is like, nigga, what do you do? What do you make? And what can you sustain? Whatever. So yeah, long as you're fulfilled and happy, that's what we care about, because that's going to make us more conducive and better union. So I think to the point about the path is like, yeah, I definitely believe that man and woman, whatever you gotta do to get yourself together, do that, because then we're going to naturally be better as a person. And I know I actually went through my relationship where it's like, I knew we couldn't graduate to the next stage until I was kind of ahead, so to speak, in like my path, where at least I was aiming at, and she still was trying to close off a chapter. And I knew it, and I told her, I'm like, once you finish this season and you done, I know you're going to blossom to a whole other person, because you're kind of locked in that stage right now. And as soon as she was done, I thought we catapulted to that next stage, but I already kind of recognize that. So I definitely believe and agree that we're like, no, yeah, whatever you need, whatever the path is, whatever the project is, work on it, complete it, because we naturally going to be better.
So you kept your jar until it was a
about to
butterfly.
say, is that considered extending grace?
I give her a lot of grace.
I give her.
A lot of grace.
Seeing the look on his face. I think I do believe that it's seasons for both people to lock in, right? But I feel like in a weird way, like I said, we say like men shouldn't date if they broke, whatever the kid may be. But that's because what women want that makes them happy, and what men want that makes us happy. So the locking phase for a woman needs to be going back and healing from that trauma.
Yes.
Going back and fixing those emotional wounds, all of those gaps that wasn't fulfilled, all of the things that you felt like wasn't provided to you from the family and how you got overlooked. You need to hit some therapy and do that. That way you come into it ready to be a partner and be a teammate. We never gonna measure y'all based on your financial success or your accolades, because that's already a space that we occupy. So if we care more if it makes you happy, not how much you accomplish from it. If you want to go to nursing school because you always had this desire to help people, we'll pay for nursing school. We want you to go to nursing school because we want you to be able to do what you love to do. We don't care if you come out making $120,000 as a nurse.
My girl make all this money making a nurse.
Nobody cares.
Okay,
About it's just more so the fulfillment.
Niggas be caring.
We talking about
not a flex.
Trust me.
Is it only not a flex if she's making more than you?
It's not a flex regardless, because it's only a flex when it's added behind the way she carry herself, how she make us feel, how we feel respected. Then it's a flex. And she do this. Like, she was able to be a great woman and still was able to sustain success. Most of the time we see it where as though y'all be great in the world. Women, I'm not saying y'all like y'all too, but women in the world be great and sustaining success, but they suck at the crib.
Yeah,
so it's like,
that's true.
What the fuck? How is that a flex?
You a rich nurse.
Why the fuck? Let me finish this. Let me land real quick. I'm passing to you. Why would I flex being with a woman that's making whatever amount? It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? If it's at the expense of our unity. Yeah. That's not a flex. That's like she's saying, yeah, my nigga get all the bitches. Don't make sense. And the reason I say women, or I used to say bitches, my nigga get all the women. The reason I say that is because that financial status ego that pulls them is that same desirable ego that might pull a man. So it's like, that'd be us, y'all flexing about how attractive your partner is and how many women is attracted to them. We not really gonna lead with that. It's good to know that she capable. Like, all right, yeah, I know if push gonna shove, she got these intangibles, because we care about the intangibles. Are you a hustler? Like, being a hustler don't have to resort in you being a millionaire. It just means that you capable of getting off your ass. You could be a hustler around the crib and putting good energy into how you do the household tasks. It don't necessarily mean you got to take that energy and go, start Apple or something. You see what I'm saying? But go ahead.
I lost it.
But yeah, so I to the real quick before we pivot, like the idea of like women's side, we in that era now, and as society continues to evolve, we're going to get more and more women are pouring into themselves to be better versions of career and professionals, which is dope. Do what you got to do, whatever. But I agree with him that it's not a necessary flex for most men, because, again, it's all about what we prioritize and when we're pursuing each other. Women typically, that's a flex for women and a man, because typically y'all want niggas to be able to provide and just spend money on y'all. Not saying he got to pay for everything, but no, like, my man makes this, or we can do this, our lifestyle is this, or our kids is fine, this and that. A man's looking at a woman like, yo, she make that, so damn, our kids gonna be good now. Or like, I don't got
take care of me.
Take me for part time now. Like,
I'm about to stay at home.
And any woman that sees a man that brain goes to that automatic, you gonna look at him like, you can work part-time now. It's
Yeah.
just like looking like he weird. Like, but oh, you make that?
Her
I'm
nails look like this, so mine could look like that.
insane. Insane. Like, dang, she worked mad doubles
My
overtime.
girl putting in that work. She outworking all you niggas.
Yeah, I do my A and skate, but she's still there. Like,
First of all, men wouldn't even respect a man for even thinking
Exactly,
that.
like-
That's not our, you know what I mean? But I do agree, going back to the initial point of, yeah, it should be seasons, but I feel like we was raised in partnership, team. We played sports, you know what I mean? We did things in groups and things like that, whereas I feel like a lot of women grew up isolated playing with dolls and might have had a little cousin friend, but it was always a beauty pageant or beauty. It was always being measured against each other. Who looked better, who did. We was being measured, but it was more with the traits of like athleticism or things like that. So it's like naturally we had to learn, like, all right, man, if we want to win, this person got to be able to be good at this, and I got to be able to be good at that in order for us to succeed. It don't matter how good I am as an individual, where it was always like, how pretty are you? You know, if it's smart, how smart are you? And it's like an individual thing. So I feel like in that season, it's like learn how to be a teammate, learn what it looked like to not be, because that's how it gets to that couple competition shit. It's like we together, but we really kind of against each other because I'm low key feeling inadequate or I feel too good, essentially. And it's like, if a man could get himself together and become a better leader, I feel like a woman got to become a better follower.
That's good.
Becoming a better follower and also just becoming a better woman in all, because like I said, how so many people or women are in situations that they have to be in, but it's like in all, are you happy? You said if that's what it got to be happy. I know that just because a man got however much money, I'm not going to always be happy.
and that's what matters.
So, but that also made me dive deeper into my personal development because, okay, now I got to figure out what roles do I play? What triggers do I have? What things do I personally deal with that this isn't enough for me? Or what things that I personally deal with that we don't work together? Like I in no way, shape, or form can I ever just settle with just having enough money.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
So can y'all say y'all got clearly articulate what 5 things would be that's like on your list of like, this is what if I only had these 5 things
That
I'd
would
be
make you happy in a
forever.
relationship?
Yep.
Or with self? Relationship?
Oh,
That's a good distinction, but I was
Yeah.
talking about in a relationship. But
For
let's
me,
start with
it would
self,
be-
though. Let's start with self because I think that it starts there for sure.
with self
a good
for
one.
me, it'll definitely be understanding because we can speak on the main character, only child thing. I
the main
don't
character,
have
only child.
understanding for nobody.
Are you admitting that you have it now?
She admitted it already.
learning? I'm growing. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm working on
Can't
it,
relate.
though.
Can't relate. Can't relate.
Oh, see,
He's never
he still need help.
Yeah.
But no, understanding. Like, I definitely need to be able to understand people more because in my world, it's like, especially in a relationship, is what I want, how I want, or that's it. And if you're not doing
it's the
this,
main
it's like
character.
you even like me. So it's like
They the one
I
tear
need
her
to
ass
learn
up.
more. But I'm being
not even gonna say
that's
that.
me being honest. So
I
it has to be. But I'm saying this for myself.
I love it.
I need more understanding, and I
wanna
don't
improve
have
on, yeah.
grace for people, and
You know
I
what? That's
need-
accountability.
Is it grace or just caring?
probably caring because I don't.
Because I
be
feel like you don't
shit.
be.
I don't care about
Just
anybody.
how I
But
love
no. I'm not saying I don't care about anybody.
It's just your world,
I
and
just
everybody else just
no.
exists.
So y'all trying to help them.
All right, go ahead.
I'm not saying I don't be caring, but I feel like I don't know. And I look at situations because I feel like I'm a very empathetic person. I have a lot of empathy for people.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I feel like if I communicate something once, or even if you just know me, if you know me, and if we're investing
stop
time
looking at
into
it like
each
that. Let me give her
if
grace.
we're investing time into each other, how much grace am I supposed to give you?
No, that's your choice. I don't never knock nobody for that. That's your choice.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one, right?
Understanding.
Is that one?
Understanding,
All right, what's the other
grace.
4?
What was the question? Like what I
The 5 things that will ultimately make you happy as a person,
and myself, grace, understanding,
which is the same 2 sides of the same coin.
emotional maturity,
Ah,
That's a good
that's a
one.
good one.
emotional intelligence,
Ah,
because I've recently learned that they're very different.
they're extremely different.
What was it?
As we have 4, you gotta give us one more.
One more, and patience.
Ah, all right, Si, let's do it.
Okay. I think I'm still into yours. Emotional intelligence and maturity.
Mhm.
I think freedom for me
Mm.
is real big.
Yes, I can
Oh,
understand that.
yeah.
Why you laughing?
No reason. What else?
Cut to the close up.
I don't know. Let me see. I I think being on track with purpose, like being able to help people, that is vital to me. Like I feel like I'm not even living life if I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And having my family and friends, I love them so much.
Respect.
I feel like that's a big gift. And then relationship wise, it's gonna be sex, money, somebody who is also with freedom because I need that. Someone who is considerate. I think that's like a really big thing for me. And communication, because I need to be able to communicate with my partner, but not like on a shallow or surface level. I think someone who could really meet me in the depths of a good conversation is important to me.
Yo, real quick, something y'all said. First of all, I commend y'all for being able to list that out, right? Without no hesitations, without no so that's heavy. That's what's up. You know what I mean? Like I got something. Stop doing that type of stuff. You be making.
I'm sorry, I'm engaged and listening.
Yeah. But no, ultimately though, y'all both mentioned emotional intelligence and emotional maturity. So I feel like it's 3 pillars to it. You got as emotional awareness. That's the first pillar. Being able to recognize that you feel away, right? I feel away. I'm aware now. Emotional intelligence is being able to identify how you feel. Shit, I'm mad. Fuck. Then emotional maturity is being able to regulate those emotions. So it's like, okay, I'm mad, but I'm not about to lash out, right? Yeah. So y'all out there, y'all listening, y'all watching, those are the 3 things that you want to study, learn, and develop within yourself. Emotional awareness to be able to recognize how you feel, emotional intelligence to be able to identify how you feel, and emotional maturity to be able to regulate those feelings so that you're not allowing your frustrations to make you lash out of anger. You're not allowing your sadness to make you lash out of anger. You're not allowing your anger to allow you to lash out of anger. You know what I mean? Quite frankly. And that right there in itself is a lot of work that would have to be done, a lot of unlearning, relearning, a lot of, you know what I mean, just getting rid of, you know what I'm saying, certain things or certain behaviors and certain attitudes in order to be able to become that next level of version of yourself, to be able to have grace and to be able to have patience, because that's literally the formula for it. Like being able to realize, like, man, we all human. Damn, like once you start to become aware of how you feel, you start to realize that other people have feelings too. And they'd be like, all right, well, if I know I get upset with this, even if what triggers you don't trigger the next person, you understand the trigger in itself. Yeah. And being able to, that's when the empathy come in, that because it's just like, all right, I understand that you might get mad seeing, you know, red, I might get mad seeing blue, but the fact of the matter is it's a color out there that can trigger us both. Yeah. So when you do get upset, I'm not going to sit and condemn you for it and act like you're just the worst person in the world for having a moment. I'm going to look at it like, all right, cool, I can extend you that grace. But doing it with yourself feels the best, because now you can play out situations without having to play out situations. Like you can actually go through the emotional, you know, roller coaster or whatever that is without, you know, it being catastrophic, because when it's going up and down, it's an internal thing. You're not allowing that to be like, I'm mad, I'm sad. And that comes from the maturity aspect, which most women don't speak about. So I think that's why I said it was dope. It's like we hear emotional intelligence all the time. I'm emotionally intelligent, I'm emotionally intelligent. That's cool. That just means you're in tune. You tapped in with how you feel. Yeah. But how much are you regulating how you feel? When you get mad, could you still respect your man? When you sad, could you still have faith and trust in the vision? You know what I mean? When these things tend to happen, how are you reacting? How are you realizing, like, you know, this is just a moment and this too shall pass? You know what I'm saying? It's 4 seasons for a reason.
That is good. Especially transitioning into emotional maturity. That's like a really big thing for me personally. And I just feel like being able to speak slow and being very eager to listen to someone has helped me. And it's still a daily process and a daily battle for sure. But in those moments when I can literally just listen to someone and not just listen to respond is the only time that I've been able to be like, oh, you know what? I've been able to work through that situation. I didn't lash out and act a fool. My emotions didn't get the best of me. So.
But you just said something that was key. That's how it's supposed to be. Yeah. It's literally one day at a time. Like people think success in these type of avenues is like something that once you turn it on, I'm emotionally mature. All right, cool. It's locked in. No, it's literally going to be situations on a day to day that represent themselves, that challenge and test if you really emotionally mature. Yeah. And then you get to look at your streak. I went 9 times straight before I lashed out. I'm doing better than last month because last time I only made it to 4. Yeah. You never really get to 10, right? Because that's where the human is coming at. It's like, you know, I could be so patient when a baby just did it. Motherfucker, I said that's normal. That's human. The same thing could be with your partner. I told this motherfucker, I just said, leave me the fuck alone. I said nothing was wrong. Like, why the fuck you keep out? But the goal is to make that happen less and less and less. So the fact that you're saying like you taking it day by day, that's the growth. That's where we measure ourselves internally. Like, well, dang, like I remember it was a point in time I would have been thinking like this. And that's when you give yourself the grace and be like, you know what? Yep. Damn, I changed the way I think a little bit. Yeah, it's never just gonna be a
overnight. Yeah.
Nah.
We gotta give our 3. So what's your 3 personal?
Wait, I didn't give my relationship one.
Oh,
give her 5.
We'll just do 3.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna just do 3 too. Well,
no, you gotta do 5.
5 is fine.
Well, first, I'm gonna steal your first one. It's definitely sex.
Keep stealing from each other. Like, what?
The second one,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the desire and ability to provide. So not just money, because just having money don't mean you're a provider or know how to be a provider. So definitely the ability and desire to provide.
Like that's what you want in a partner.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
Communication, understanding, and just personal awareness, or like self-awareness. I think
Out
that's
of your partner?
yeah, that's a huge thing for me.
Go ahead, Q, because I'm still thinking.
For myself, things I would want to work on or improve on. That's the original question, right?
No, the proof was like what will make you, what will like
Make me happy.
The things that's like,
Yeah,
you know,
for
if I get
yourself.
these like this.
All right, yeah.
Oh, for self. I thought he was going to your
Well,
relationship.
both.
Both is that same
All right,
way.
go,
If
go,
I
go.
get these, that'll make me happy in either regard. Yeah, so I'll do myself 3. If I had a little more emotional, let's go with. You good, Ricky? You good?
We can just say empathy, Q.
Yeah.
It's a
He's
word
having
for
a
it.
hard time.
It's a word. It's a word.
He's really the main character. I think he got the title.
Wow.
He
Okay.
did-
I'm trying to project
He
it.
started fixing his shirt. That was a compliment for him. So
He definitely said
he
fix it.
said, okay. He started right. He popped
Yo.
his collar
I
and
got
everything.
that.
Oh shit.
When
He won.
you're right, you're right. All right, it's fair. Like,
We got you.
but all right, let's go with
He felt seen.
let's go with empathy, you know, emotional regulation, whatever type. Yeah. Thank you, Ricky. Have more bandwidth for my daughter. So
Nigga.
yeah, so like whether it's like even, you know, I've been trying to, speaking of streaks, I've been trying to have consistent streaks of reading her bedtime story. Like, you know, so some nights, yo, I don't feel like it, I'll give you a bath. So I'll be like, no, I'm trying not to say no. Like, all right, fuck, let's just do whatever. So to have like, whether it's dad or, you know, let's go to the park. I went to the park yesterday. All right? So just say no to the little things that don't even cost that much, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So more bandwidth with my daughter, that'll make me happy, more fulfilled. Like I'm doing my, you know, a better job. Third for myself, continuous pursuit of what I'm already doing. So that was that. For romantic relationship, I feel that my partner, she could have more self-awareness. Do you want me to think you do well with self-awareness?
Nigga, answer your 3. I'm trying to buy you some
I'm
time.
not 3, but you think you do well with self-awareness?
I think so.
Most
personally.
recently.
Okay, so
I feel
yesterday.
like I get better. So yes.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I felt self-awareness, like be consistent with that.
He's not trying to get in trouble.
I have a question.
No, really.
Because real quick, you
Self-awareness
asked,
is key.
do women feel like they're self-aware? I want to add, this is kind of maybe something I should work more on. But just because I'm self-aware doesn't mean I always fully take accountability.
Oh no, that's a fact. Self-awareness has nothing to
It's
do
like
with
I know I was
I'm aware I'm not accountable.
I think it's
but
just
I'm
no.
not about to probably
Yeah.
tell you that I was dead ass wrong.
And I think we talked about this on our episode
Yeah.
too.
No,
about
we
being
had
too
some-
self-aware.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I think you got 2 more. Trying to
Don't let
slide
him
out of
don't let
it,
him
right?
out of the car.
Wait, we
That's
go
that
to,
main character, sister, brother shit.
we go with accountability. Sure, get me out. We go with accountability and like being more. So it's got self-awareness, but I feel also being aware of the vision, because you know we spoke about before. Like, I feel we don't use the basketball player name, but there's certain on certain basketball teams, there's a basketball player that can like be the leader of it, and it's people that may benefit from that, and they may think, nigga, I'm just as good as you, or this. It's like, but not really. You just benefit off the system and the attention that I create, whatever. So I often feel like in relationships, whether it's a man or a woman leading, whatever,
That's good.
it's like a person.
The man or
humility.
woman leading matters, but go ahead.
Yeah,
Stop trying to be.
I'm a feminist.
I know what you are.
But it's like, yo, like, I don't need you to help create the offense or the system, but I need you at least be aware that I created the system, whatever.
Yeah.
So if certain things are delegate or certain things are kind of just, it shouldn't be like, yeah, I just need to be aware of the system.
Wait,
So
I actually do want you to dive a little deeper into that because it sounds a little bit like ego.
you
I'm
good?
gonna tell you a lifeline. You want it?
Because
Go for
you
it.
said, because
I'm
real
throwing him a
quick,
lifeline. I'm
you
not letting you
said
do that to
even
him.
when you gave the basketball analogy, you said just because what you say, the star of the team or something like
Right.
that, and the other people that helped them out, they think they just as good, but they're not just as good. And then you gave back to your relationship. So basically, you saying
Oh, I get
you
what
want
mean.
her to honor the fact that
You're the
you
star.
started this. This was your vision, and I'm just following you. That kind of gives stroking your ego.
Not necessarily. It just means that if the person, so for instance, so if there's ever a time that a system is in. All right, let's go. I'm playing. Our honeymoon is happening. It's in motion right now, whatever. So it was in the motion of that planning. Already kind of we agreed on the place. We agreed on what's happening. But then whenever it's time to say like delegate the task or the timeline, they were starting, oh, what about? It's like, but you're not even fully aware that this is already kind of in like developing already. So you never realize you just have to play this little bit. I can't think of.
Was it a plan that y'all developed together, or you just
Absolutely.
developed it?
No.
Maybe she not speaking today, but maybe in. I feel like women in relationships. And
I got a better example, real quick.
Okay,
Here we
that's
go.
what they say.
Here we go.
He's like, I gotta defend myself.
Yeah. Boom.
I want to throw him a lifeline so much.
Why ain't we
I
live?
was letting you.
Wait,
I
let
was
him-
letting you
let
speak
him
for you.
finish.
Yeah, I didn't want to speak.
So
for
for
you.
instance, so
I'm going to do it. I'm just letting you.
yeah.
get
So
your
for
shit off. I'm not
instance,
letting y'all jump
the way
my
my girl's schedule is, she can't really. She leaves out the house when she works. She got to leave out, be at work by 7 a.m. I can be at work whenever I want for the most part. So and I'm the one that drives. So I take my daughter to school every day. I pick her up every day, type shit. Cool. So as a person that has that aware of that system, which is fine. Let's say today she's off. So I'll say, yo, you can get her ready today. She's like, oh my God, I just had to work last night. Why I get her ready this morning? It's like, you're not even aware that the system's already in place. Is I'm the one that's responsible because of roles to pick her up, to take her and pick her up, and I get her dressed more of the time because that's the way our system is already developed in place. So I would say, yo, no, you can get her dressed this morning. I'ma still take her though. So I feel that's the person that's like the not the key player. You're a person that's a part of the system of the offense, but you're not even realizing because you're just in the offense already. So,
Okay,
Do
so
you get? Hold on, real quick. I'm sorry.
okay, go ahead.
Do you get days off?
what do you mean?
Because you're saying like you gave her having her day off, and you asked, okay, since you're off, can you get her dressed or take her to school, or whatever? But she
while
like,
I still take her to school.
okay,
Okay.
can you get out the bed? This is your day off.
Exactly,
You just
right.
said it. But she may feel like this is my only day off, and I have a strict schedule. You have more of a flexible schedule. You could do more of what you want. I have a strict schedule. This is my one day to rest and sleep in. You could sleep in every day because you could go to work whatever time you want.
No, she had contact.
No,
that ain't
yeah, I didn't say I could
But
sleep.
you can sleep. You get more.
I
you
get to
have
work
more
later.
flexibility than
I get
she
to
does.
work later. That's all.
No, yeah.
So you have more
I think-
flexibility than she does. So
no, I think this.
So not to make it too specific, right? But I think
don't care
just to
about
sum up, what it sounded like you were explaining. Me and Destiny had this conversation just recently, but it sounds like an entrepreneur dating somebody with a 9 to 5, and their perspectives are completely different, and it's always like that back and forth, like. Oh, you got the time, but time is viewed differently from these two different people standing at two completely different perspectives. So the appreciation is going to be completely different until you do a swap of jobs or take somebody to work for them to really get into the perspective to be able to understand, because that understanding is what's really missing. What I have to go through, what my day-to-day routine looks like.
I feel it's only like that when only one person's aware of the system, though.
But
And
how
typically
can
when
someone be
you're- when
aware
you're-
of the system when they're working in the system is what I'm saying. As an entrepreneur, we're aware of systems because we create the systems.
I would say as a leader, you're aware of the system, but as a person, as a part of the system.
as
I wouldn't say so.
entrepreneur, I feel like
Q's
you're
not an
aware of
entrepreneur, so let's say that. So that's why I get what y'all saying. Essentially, that example, like spot on for that type of scenario. I'm gonna give contact only because I know like a lot into the situation. So when he said about. So it's like, it's not more so about stroking his ego to feel like I'm the guy. It's more so understanding that nobody's above the system. So the system is in place, meaning that it's a system, meaning that when you do management, you still have to learn how to do cashier, fries, drive-through in order to be able to manage the system. So if I ever have to say, look, I need you off the cashier for now and in the drive-through because there's more work to be done over here, I need you to understand that it's still a system. You can't just stay up front and say, oh, I'm not doing that because there's nothing to do for me right here. So I'm not about to help the system. So as men, when we create those systems, we understand that in order for them to function, all pieces got to constantly be moving.
But
Go ahead.
You can't feel some type of way when the person that's a part of the system feels some type of way because their routine or habit is shifted.
But again, then don't say you're a partner at that point. Just say you.
No, that's not fair.
Hold on. I'm about to get based on what you just said. I'm saying that if our goal is the end goal is to get our daughter to school. That's the end goal. She got to get dressed, got to get washed up, got to get dressed, and got to get to school. Typically, I do all three of these things by myself. But I've been sustaining it. Now, for this one day, you hear, I say, all right, now maybe I can focus on something. This is my time to request a time off from this one task, and I'm going to still do the other two. How like, I don't understand the disconnect.
It's different.
I disagree.
No.
Now,
Because my thing is not the fact that she doesn't want to do it. My thing is more so you can't, if she gives you an attitude because she has to do it, there should be no problem. There should be no problem.
She can feel how she want to feel on her way to take her to the dress.
That's a damn shame.
You wanna feel.
And that's the problem right there.
No, because this is the same conversation that I have with like my mom. She's married and my mom works overnight, do doubles, this and the third, and still has to come home and cook for her husband. Then the audacity of him having an attitude when he gets off work and not seeing a pot of rice on the stove is crazy because like, what do you think this is?
Yo, I want to say something.
that
Where's the?
Hold on, real quick.
But I guess that's her role. But she be cursing and making the rice and snacks,
this
but the
what we-
rice still get made.
This is what we finna do, right? We gonna land this, right? But for the first time in history, we about to double down.
Do a part 2?
We about to double down for the first time.
Wait, we at hour?
And 15. That's way too long.
Okay.
But, all right, so what we gonna do is, man, y'all already know, and I'm not gonna speed ball past it. Y'all gonna leave on the edge of y'all seats, but
Come back next
for
time.
us, yeah, we getting right back to it. With that being said, man, y'all already know what the tagline is. As y'all let me get my close up. As y'all let people know, we grow. And we want y'all to do that, man. Continue to share this out. Continue to have these conversations. Don't just hear what we saying and leave it there. Take it to your group chat. Take it to your coworkers. Take it to your parents. Take it to your children for all means. Whatever that look like, take what you need out of this in order to be able to continue to push these conversations forward because that's why we bring them to you. We don't have these conversations for them to end here. We want them to start here and then start to take the course that they take. So let people know. Share this out. Drop it in your group chat. Spread the word. Make sure y'all go shop with our sponsors. Let me get back to the why. Make sure y'all go shop with our sponsors. Her fantasy box, who I'm rocking today. I got on this Fortune. It's a Philly brand. I'm rocking Janice and Jean. That's a Philly brand. I'm rocking Phenom sneakers. That's a Philly brand. This is actually a Delaware brand. Philly. And we got the owner of Lost Prosperity right here. The owners and founders of Dear Sister. And we got Marquee Consultant Solutions.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? On top of First Step Home Care Agency. Make sure y'all get with us. We'll start talking about that moving forward. But with that being said, man, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, Wolf Network. You know, watch the Wolf Has Spoken podcast. Make sure y'all listen to us on all audio platforms, the Wolf Has Spoken podcast. Make sure y'all follow me on Instagram at WolfWSC, the network at wolfnetwork.WSC. That's where can they find you?
On Instagram at _JustDestiny with 2 Y's at the end.
Okay, Sarah, where can they find you?
Follow me on Instagram. Oh, where's the camera?
It's
Okay.
right there.
All right, follow me on Instagram at it's Celine.Sa.
Q.
Right on Q Live, as in the right side on QUE Live.
All right, man. And until next time, we see y'all soon, man. The Wolf. Oh, wait. Make sure I get
Live show?
Philly. And make sure I attend our live show. You know what I'm saying? 420, we having a live show. You know what I'm saying? Get y'all tickets. We got 20 left. But next time, by the time y'all
True story.
sold out. So with that being the case, man, until next time we see y'all, man. The Wolf Has Spoken. Let's get it.